Buenas tardes. This is B. Gonzalez from Syracuse University. I'm the Dean of University College and Summer Sessions, and today I'm here to have a conversation with you about admissions to American universities. I'm actually from Puerto Rico, so this is very exciting for me to do this. And it's been my pleasure to have worked with students and families from Puerto Rico for over 25 years in my different roles here at Syracuse University. Today's discussion will cover the benefits of study in the U.S., some of the challenges you, the parents and the families and students may face, how to prepare for study in the U.S., important factors, and the process. I like to answer questions as I go along, so feel free to ask me questions and I'll try and remember to look up at that little box so I can answer them for you. The benefits of studying in the U.S. I think we all know that American universities are known worldwide for their quality and recognized worldwide for their quality. American universities also have a diverse student body and really diverse environments. So you can actually find a university that fits your particular needs if you do your homework and your research. University years also offer you the opportunity to build friendships and relationships with people from around the world, and friendships and relationships that will last you a lifetime. It'll allow you to acquire skills that prepare you for a global society through your experiences, through the technology available on American campuses and at our universities, through the opportunities to do internships and travel abroad. All of those things that help prepare you for a global society. We also, I've learned from my students from Puerto Rico and other countries that it allows you to really improve your language skills, not only in English as your second language, if that's the case, but also in your native language, because at some point you almost miss it. And if you get the opportunity, you take the literature courses and you take other classes just to have that opportunity to hear your native language. And then you get to acquire experiences just based on the set of experiences that really makes you a much more valued professional when you enter the workforce. So I have a question about being able to ask a question in Spanish. Yes, you may. Challenges for students coming to the university, to American universities from abroad, or from Puerto Rico. So the first thing on the list is that people are concerned about is distance. And so you have to really think about how far you want to be from home. You have to remember that during holidays and vacations, do you have enough resources to get home? Or do you have another backup plan or another family that you can stay with? There's usually a Thanksgiving break and then the holiday break and then again a spring break. So there are 3 or 4 opportunities where you'll have either to find alternative housing because we may not have housing, or just make other arrangements. And then culture, as I think about the students that I work with from Puerto Rico, the one thing they miss the most is hearing Spanish, and then quickly followed up by missing food. So my suggestion is make friends with those folks on campus that you know are good cooks and cook the cuisine that you like, and you go ahead and enjoy a good home cooked meal now and then. Then we have the social aspects, right? Latinos tend to be very sociable, and I think that sometimes they miss that connection, that social interaction. But here on our campus, the students find themselves, and I know that one of the customs, or one of their little traditions, is that they celebrate birthday. Once a month, they celebrate birthdays, and that's their opportunity to get together. So that students will find their own social network here. I say challenges, logistics is a challenge. One of the major questions I've gotten in the sessions I've done in Puerto Rico is how to prepare for moving into the residence hall. So what I tell the parents, and what parents have agreed is a really good idea, is don't do major shopping and ship. Just bring your clothes, bring your few personal items, and do your shopping once you get here. It's much more economical, and it just makes much more sense. The issue of language again, and this is more from the perspective that the students come and they have to adjust to the variations and the accents that they're just hearing on campus. Our campus is pretty international. We have over 1,000 students from around the world, and students from all over the United States. So you hear lots of variations of English on our campus, and you just have to kind of tune your ear to that. Climate. When you're picking your university, make sure you pick a climate that you're going to be comfortable in. If you don't like snow, the Northeast may not be the right place for you. And then, of course, academic factors, right? University, college is more demanding, more time consuming. You have to be self-directed. You have to be a good time manager. You have to have good study skills, and you have to be willing to ask for help. I think that's probably one of the most important things that I tell students and their families. If you have a question, find someone to help you find the answer. If you need something, don't suffer in silence. Find someone that will help you find the solution to that question. And financial issues, right? You have to think about all the things I mentioned earlier. How many times can you afford to go home? How far is it? What are your clothing needs? I mean, if you're studying in the southern United States, you're not going to need to buy winter coats and winter boots. And all of these things can add up. So you have to kind of accommodate for these things. And then the last thing I want to say is that students feel that impact of homesickness, right? But regardless of distance, in the modern age, we've got Skype, we've got cell phones, we've got text. So those are tools that can help you stay connected with your family on a very, very regular basis. How to prepare? Well, my husband has a great saying. He says, make a plan and then work your plan, right? So this is it. This is about making a plan. Think about the things that are important to you, the things that you want to study, the things that you want to learn, and start looking at colleges that really provide you, your student, those things. If they want to be an architect, then obviously we're looking for a school that has architecture. But also, if you're undecided, then you're looking for a school that has multiple choices for you so that you can explore different areas to kind of find out where you fit. The earlier you start thinking about these things and the earlier you start identifying schools and universities, the easier the process is. Make yourself available of the opportunities at home to go to college fairs and to go to and meet with the school representatives that do the school visits. It's very important to have that opportunity to meet people that work at the universities and the colleges that you're interested in, because you begin to get a feel for the culture of that institution. Also, make a college visit if possible, but if not possible, do a virtual college visit, right? Do a Skype interview and get to know the university and its staff that way. Also, we have a very active alumni chapter in Puerto Rico, and we have an opportunity through the admissions office for you to set up an interview and meet some of our current students and our current alums. But remember, when you do that, you're really meeting with someone who thinks their university is the best place in the world, and you have to You'll get excited about with their enthusiasm, but you have to allow yourself an opportunity to experience the place yourself. There's nothing like walking on a college campus and getting a feel for that institution based on your visit. I've known many students who've changed their mind because of the college visit, and the feeling they got once they got to the campus. So I'm trying to respond to Jacqueline. We are just beginning to provide services and financial support for undocumented students. So that is all decided through the financial aid process. Important factors to consider when selecting a university. We talked about these a little bit already, and I think, quality of academic programs is important. Please make sure that the institutions that you're looking at are accredited institutions, and that their programs are ranked, and that the quality is inherent in their rankings. Then think about the things that you're interested in. Are you interested in a university that has a diverse student body? Are you interested in a university that has diversity of opportunities, academic, social, cultural, and extracurricular? What clubs are you interested in? What skills are you trying to acquire? So these are all the kinds of things that you're looking for as you're looking at the schools and as you're meeting with representatives from the schools. These are the kinds of questions you should be asking to probe. Is there academic support? Is there tutoring? Is there math support? Are there study groups? Do they have programs for students with disabilities? These are all things that you should know and look into. And these are programs that are available to you, but once you get to the university, no one is going to tell you to avail yourself of those programs. You are going to have to move on and receive. You're going to have to seek out support and assistance. Get to know the university's financial aid opportunities and scholarships. And those are all listed on the university web pages. Don't be shy about asking and applying for scholarships that are listed on our web pages, on the university web pages. Health and wellness is a big part of our culture, and it's a big part of the culture on many campuses. And so to support health and wellness, we have counseling services are available, academic advising services are available, psychological services are available, and we also have a parent's office for you parents who are a little nervous about sending your student so far away from home, that can help you understand the resources available to you as a parent as well as to your student. And also think about accessibility to the campus, right? It is important that the campus is accessible. Where's the airport? Where's the, is there a bus? Is there a train? How do I get there? How much is the cab ride from the airport to the campus? Those things are important. And campus location, am I close to other family? Am I in a climate that I really like, that I want to be in? And these are all things that are important in terms of how you make your decisions. So the process can be daunting. It's a test in organization and time management. My recommendation is to start with either an electronic file, a portfolio, or just a plain old box, and use that to organize your materials. Each school should have its own file, and you should be aware of each school's set of deadlines and each school's criteria, because making sure that you have all of your paperwork in order meeting all the deadlines is really important. And some of these deadlines and dates are a year before you actually graduate from high school. So organize your material, make a chart outlining your deadlines, and then start making those personal connections with someone in the admissions office of the institutions that you're interested in, to clearly understand all of the requirements, all of the exams, the SAT, the TOEFL. Make sure you've provided the transcripts in time. Make sure your essays are relevant and answer the questions that are being asked. And make sure your essays reflect a good match between your goals and the institution's goals. And how do you find that out? Spend some time on the university website and get to know the university that way. And that way you can begin to answer your essay questions. Make sure your letters of recommendation are in a timely manner. And make sure that you've done everything that you need to do in terms of auditions, portfolios, if required. If you're interested in art school, music schools, architecture schools, you more likely than not will have a portfolio requirement. I have a question here. The question is, how can a different action applicant get a scholarship? How can a deferred action applicant get a scholarship? You apply for your financial aid through the deadlines. Follow all of the deadlines. Follow all of the procedures. As if you're going to, the deferred action students are students who are early applicants, but not required to sign. So just follow the process, contact the financial aid office of your institution and find out what their process is for determining financial aid. I can't stress the importance of paying attention to the deadlines and communicating back with the financial aid office and with the admissions office in terms of your ongoing questions regarding financial aid and your application status. Complete all of your requirements to the letter. I don't know how you have, this is really, really important to make sure that you complete all of your applications to the letter. It's important to know also that universities have general admissions criteria, but different programs within a university or a college may have may have different programs. So that makes a difference. I have another question. Is financial aid only for residents? Financial aid, federal financial aid is for U.S. citizens or students with the appropriate documentation for eligibility for federal financial aid. Scholarships vary depending on the criteria of the scholarship, and students can bring scholarships with them from their own schools, from their home countries, from their home governments. So financial aid, like everything else at the university, is a very individualized process, and so the best answers would come from working with the financial aid officer, but certain aspects, federal financial aid is limited to students that have U.S. citizenship or permanent resident status. I hope that answered your question. I had a question earlier that was sent to me in Spanish. And the question is, has to do with resident status. And so I think I've answered that question because all the questions have been in the same arena. I've gone through my slides, and so I'm available for any other questions that you might have. So the question is about the deadlines. Each university, each college, each university has its own set of deadlines. You need to follow those deadlines. You can assume that early decision deadlines are in November. Regular decision application deadlines are in January. Financial aid deadlines are also very early in the spring term. Admissions decisions are returned to students, depending on the institution, sometime in March, usually. Each university, each college has its own deadlines, so you need to pay close attention. I think it's important. Students can start researching universities at any point in time. They should start visiting, they should start paying attention to the college fairs and to the college visits at their high schools at any point in their high school years. I've worked with students that I met as ninth graders, and every year when I went back to visit, they would come and chat with me, and eventually they became students at Syracuse University. So from that perspective, if there's a recruiter at your child's, at your student's school, they should, and they're interested, they should feel free to start up a conversation with that person about their interest. But the rule of thumb is the fall semester of the senior year is dedicated to applying for admissions. The key is paying attention to the requirements. Different schools have different requirements. You may have to do the common application, you may have to do a supplemental, and that's part of the admissions process. Some schools may require 3 letters of recommendation, some may only require 2. So that's why it's important. My recommendation is to kind of make a little list appropriate to the requirements for each institution that you're interested in, and kind of planning out what you need to do based on their deadlines. The financial aid process as well is very involved. Some of the schools require the CSS profile, and some don't, so you need to make sure that you're aware of all of the appropriate documentation that is being requested by the university or college that your student is interested in. Are there any other questions? How long should I wait? Oh, here's a new question. The question is, how do we accept our Cal Grant for college? I have to tell you that I'm not sure I know what a Cal Grant is. So I cannot answer that question.
CAL?
Yeah. You want to look it up, Mike? I could do that. Let me try and find out.
California Student Aid Commission grant
Okay.
funded by the state of California.
The questions, so the California grant, I am not aware of the rules for that or the process for that, so I apologize that I cannot answer that question. What schools in Georgia accept my deferred action? Again, I don't have the list. You will have to check with each of the schools that you're interested in because I don't have a comprehensive list of the schools in Georgia. What is a good way to find scholarships? There are several very good scholarship resources. The College Board has an excellent college scholarship resource on their website, as well as each of the schools or universities that you're interested in. They should have scholarship information on their financial aid pages or on their scholarship pages. The FAFSA, the Federal Financial Aid, the FAFSA site also has scholarship information there. Rule of thumb, most scholarship information is available to the public. You shouldn't have to pay to receive scholarship information. So if you use the resources at the College Board, if you use the resources at the institutions you're interested in, or if you look on the FAFSA website, you should find a very good selection of scholarship resources there for you. Anyone else? What is a good resource for textbook that is the most affordable? Well, that's a really good question. The new trend for students is, there are two new trends for students for textbook purchases, and one is ebooks and the other is renting their textbooks. Because yes, textbooks can be quite expensive, but those are the two new trends that I'm seeing at the university. So once you know what textbooks you need, you can search online, you can go to eTextbooks, or you can rent. There are rental services on most campuses or near most campuses for textbooks. So the system here, is different from the system in Mexico, for example. So there are resources that your students should be using at the high school to help navigate the system. And through relationships with the schools that he's interested in. The admissions officers will help. I think I can refer you back to the College Board website as well. It has a good set of services and resources available for students in terms of the process. So not knowing what grade your son is in, I would say that by the time he's in 11th grade, you should start thinking through the schools and universities that he would be interested in applying to, and then beginning the process of understanding the deadlines for each of those schools. Make sure that your student prepares for any standardized test, particularly the SAT or TOEFL, depending on where they are. Those tests are really part of the admissions decision process. When we're looking at students, when we're making admissions decisions, we're looking for students that we think are a good match for our institution, for students that we think will benefit and grow by the experiences afforded to them by our institution. We look at high school grades, we look at their standardized test, we look at their extracurricular activities, we look at their letters of recommendation. We look at the whole student, and we make our decisions based on each individual's qualities and qualifications. So it is important that your student be somewhat well-rounded, right, and have volunteer experience as well as good, strong academic background. So scholarships are, so you've tried many resources with scholarships with no luck. It is a time-consuming process. You need to consider all of the possibilities for scholarships. So scholarships that start at school, scholarships that are related to the organizations in your community, to the churches, to the Rotary. Then you need to look at the national scholarship resources available, again, through the College Board. Fill in the profile aspects of the site, and they will then send you information about scholarships that you may be eligible for. And then it's being very disciplined about applying and sending out the required materials. Also, talk to the university that you're applying to about resources and possible scholarships there. So, this question is I think the question has to do with AP classes and how do they help in terms of the college process. AP classes are classes that we know have a certain amount of rigor, and those classes are part of the decision making in terms of your academic performance. As I said, we don't compare you to anyone. We only look at what you bring to the process and what you bring to the institution. But we know that if you've done AP courses, that you have the ability to do college level work because of the rigor of those courses. This question is about resources for an undocumented student and tuition support. Since we don't have the National Dream Act, you have to look state by state for resources for undocumented students, and not only state by state, but you have to look institution by institution. So Until we have immigration reform in this country, and until we have the DREAM Act as a national policy, you're going to have to do this state by state, school by school. How important is the personal statement portion in the college application? It is very important because it is where we get to know who you are and what makes you tick. So as you think about writing that personal statement, think about it as a way of introducing yourself to us. And then make sure that you have someone edit your personal statement and that you're sending us the best possible example and sample of your work and who you are. How can we get scholarships, or what are the requirements we need? That depends on the scholarship. Some scholarships are based on economic need. Some scholarships are based on academic performance. So it really all depends on the scholarship that you are applying for, which is why the scholarship search is so important, because then it allows you to really look for scholarships that meet your particular needs. And as I said, some are based on academic performance, some could be based on financial need. It just really depends on the scholarship. This has been very good. We got on a little roll there. I'm hoping to get a few more questions. Here we go. What items do you recommend to take to a college dorm? Well, that's a really good question, in that would depend on the college that you're going to. Some universities, each university, each college that admits you will send you a list of the items that you should bring. Now, you here put as an example printers and computers. Personal computer, probably yes. A printer, I don't think so. All the campuses provide computer centers where you can go in and print off your materials. So I wouldn't, from my experience, printers are not standard equipment to bring to the dorm. But please do look for items recommended to bring to college. And they're always posted on the college web, on the admissions web pages for students, for the freshmen and for the entering class or for transfer students. So each university provides their own list. Well, if there are no other questions, I would like to thank you for joining me this evening. I hope I've provided some insights into the process, and encourage you to continue your research and continue learning about the process on here's a question. It's another scholarship question. Scholarship resources are available through the College Board website, through the FAFSA website, and on the websites of each of the schools and universities that you're interested in. Another area where you can search for scholarship information is at your state's education website. The Department of Education website for each of your states will most likely have information about state-based scholarships. So that is another resource for you. For those of you that are concerned about the cost of applying to the university, based on your family situation, you may be able to acquire waivers for the application fee from your high school guidance counselor or from the institution to which you're applying. So don't let a fee stop you from doing what you need to do. You should take the opportunity to ask if that fee can be waived. So this question is, for freshman year in college, would you recommend doing clubs and community service or finding work experience? For freshman year in college, for freshman year in college, first it's getting acclimated, right? It's adjusting to your environment. Engaging socially is really important, and we find that students that engage with clubs, community service, tend to be more successful at the university than those that don't. It's just finding the right balance. to be able to take care of your schoolwork while you engage with these other opportunities. When those things get out of balance, that's when you get into trouble. So it's really about good time management. If you have good time management, then you should be able to engage in community service or clubs. And if you have college work study, there is a limit to how many hours you can work, and that would be based on how many work study hours you have. But again, it's all about time management and how to ensure that you are taking care of your number one priority at the university, which is your academics. Do you recommend study abroad? If so, what years do you recommend? The standard is junior year abroad, and study abroad experiences are phenomenal experiences, and many universities and colleges actually encourage their students to study abroad. Some universities and some programs have study abroad built into the curriculum. Here at Syracuse, for example, if you are a student in the School of Architecture, you have the opportunity to study in Florence, Italy, or in London, England, as part of the curriculum of the School of Architecture. And we have study abroad programs in almost all of our degree areas. So I recommend study abroad. Our institution supports study abroad, and usually it's done junior year. Some schools have a fairly new program, and that is starting as a freshman abroad. So you start your first semester as an abroad student, and then you begin your campus experience the second semester of your freshman year. Study abroad is what is study abroad? Study abroad is the opportunity to live and learn in a different country. So for example, we have a study abroad office at our university, and we have programs all over the world in facilities and in places like London, in Madrid, in Santiago, Chile, in Hong Kong, in Florence, as I stated earlier, and many other locations. So it's really just an opportunity to spend a semester living and learning, sponsored and part of your curriculum in another country. It is similar to, is an exchange student as an example. It is similar to being an exchange student in that you're living and learning in another community. But you are still really a student registered at the university. So if I study abroad, it would be like an exchange to another country. It would be good to know other languages. Um, yes, it would. And for some of our study abroad programs, you need to be able to speak the other language. But for most of them, we really try to place our students in countries where some of their coursework or much of their coursework is done in English. But no, it is a great opportunity to immerse yourself in another language and another culture. There are also majors at a university that may require you to learn another language, such as international relations, international relationships, international relations as a major may have ability to speak another language as part of the requirement. And then, of course, if you want to be a language instructor, then um, fluency in another language is a requirement. But you know, more and more we're living in a global world, and so the ability to have an international experience like that, it's just phenomenal. What are the best ways to decide on a major if I am currently undecided and I will be entering my freshman year of college in the fall? Well, you'll have to experiment a little bit, right? Most freshman year students have a required set of courses to take, but it is also the opportunity for you to begin through your electives to take courses in areas that are interesting to you, and then begin to get a sense of where you want to major that way. The other way to figure out what major you want to do or you're interested in or you want to finish in is to possibly do internships and just try out different areas. So for example, if you're interested, I just had a student who graduated and she was interested in forensics. She finished her bachelor's in forensics and she had an internship at the medical examiner's office. So let me see. This question, I study abroad. I am an athlete, so I don't think I would have the time. Well, even if you're an athlete, study abroad programs happen during breaks. They happen during the summer. So maybe as an athlete, you still might be able to do study abroad. I wouldn't say that it's not a possibility. It may not be a whole semester for you, but it could be a couple of 3 weeks in a short-term course. So don't think that's not possible, because I think it would be. So let me see. What career opportunities does a major in international relations offer? Well, are you interested in working with the State Department? Are you interested in working with a non-government organization, an NGO in a different country? That's just the two things that come to mind right away in terms of majors in international relations. May I suggest that if you're interested in a major in international relations, that you look at the information about that particular major on the website of the schools and universities that you're interested in. And you'll get a sense from their pages what their students are doing with their international relations degree. I see there's someone here who's interested in sports medicine, a very specialized major. So as you're looking at the universities and the colleges, make sure that that is something that is a part of their inventory of degree programs for you. I would like to know if I can study in Canada and work at the same time to pay for my tuition. Is there any program that allows that? I am interested in social services. I'm not familiar with the rules for working and studying while in Canada, so I really cannot answer that question for you. What is the difference between business administration and business economics? Well, somebody's really testing me right now, aren't they? Business, and now I'm just going to take a stab at this. I should probably Google it while I'm trying to answer your question. Business administration is the how to manage a business, build a business. Business economics, I would say, has more to do with the structure, with the economic structure. But I'm not doing a very good job of answering that question, so I think I'll just leave it at that. That is a great question for you to really ask the admissions officer at the schools and colleges that you're interested in, because they would be able to tell you what the differences are. Or it's a great question to Google and see how the differences are outlined based on those answers. Well, I've really enjoyed my time with you tonight. I hope I've been able to answer your questions. I think the key to remember is that if I couldn't answer your questions, there are resources available to you to be able to get those answers. But key to all of it is develop a relationship with someone at the institution that you're interested in, and use them, the admissions office, the financial aid office, as a resource to help you figure out the things that you need to do and be organized. Keep all of these pieces of paper and all of these process and all of these deadlines in some kind of order so that you are completely, so that when we get your application, it is perfect and solid. Thank you. I wish you all the best and good luck on your college search.